in another 3 hours. Wind speed there already reported to be somewhere around 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. It's going to now strengthen to about 115 to 125 kilometers per hour in Valsad, Gujarat. As Gujarat gears up to bear the brunt of the cyclone Biparjoy, Minister Harsh Sanghvi has visited seashore and has taken a stock of the situation there. Preparedness in Gujarat's Dwarka, as we see the state now kept on high alert with notices going out asking people against or requesting them not to venture into the coastal areas. And these images here fully explaining the impact and power of Cyclone Biparjoy. Visuals showing strong winds in Gujarat's Patan, blowing away the roof of a car parking area. And this taking place even before the cyclone makes its landfall. One would imagine the severity of the cyclone once it lands. Even before that, we're seeing all kinds of effects of the cyclone coming close. Mumbai is also witnessing high tides due to the fast approaching Cyclone Biparjoy. Mumbai's gateway of India saw some strong sea waves washing off the shores. In fact, early this morning, we believe the tides were really high. There again in Mumbai too, a strict warning going out for people against venturing into the coastal areas. All right, I'm going to quickly cut across to our reporters joining us live. We have Ashutosh joining us from Manvi, Saurav Vaktania from Jamnagar to give us a sense of the kind of impact that this landfall would have. Let me cut across to Ashutosh. Ashutosh, you've been there for a while now. This the cyclonic storm that's now supposed to have its landfall at 6 to 8 p.m. It's somehow delayed. The information that we've received from the Met Department is that it's supposed to now have its landfall around 9 p.m., between 9 to 10. Take us through the effects that you already see, though, on ground. After 50 years, a cyclonic storm of such nature and such strength hitting the state of Gujarat.
Well, Nabila, the 1998 severe cyclonic activities, of course, the people from the coastal area cannot forget ever. And as far as the delay is concerned, remember, we are already witnessing the cyclonic activity since this morning, which is the intense wind speed. And literally, when there's a rain shower with the same wind speed, it literally, feels like someone smashing your body with the raindrops. And at the moment, again, the wind speed is way above the normal. And even if the landfall takes place at around 9 or 10 o'clock, remember, that will be at the center of the eye. That will be somewhere around 130 kilometers far away from the seashore, and which will be heading further or advancing towards the northwest region. But even in that case, because of this 130 kilometer radius to the coastal line, it will take again for certain hours. For example, if it is landfall makes around 9 o'clock, to hitting the coastal line with the gravity with the same intensity, the impact will reach only after 4 or 5 in the morning tomorrow. So this is gonna be really a longest night perhaps for the coastal Gujarat in this part of Kutch, Western Kutch, Mandavi, Mundra, in all the other areas. So as the Met says, if there's a delay in the cyclonic activity or the hitting the exact the path that was projected by the Met Department, so clearly the impact by reaching at the coastal line will take another certain hours. And see, with those we see, this was the the risk estimate that was done by the agencies that was against the infrastructures and of course the uprooting of the trees. So far all you can say has been a safe day. There is not a major damage, only except certain uprooting of the trees that was taking place, and QRT was quick to response to ensure there is no blockage of the roads, particularly to ensure smooth passage of ambulances and the other essential services. So people are indoors. There have
all rescue teams, Ashutosh, have been kept on high alert. Right. Rescue teams have been kept on high alert. Nearly 94,000 people along the low-lying areas have been evacuated. We saw Ashutosh where he's standing and braving that weather condition. Strong winds, gusty winds slapping the air right where Ashutosh is. Let me cut across to Saurav Vaktania, who's also live from Jamnagar, again in Gujarat, where we see the fiercest landfall that is due to take place somewhere between 9 to 10 p.m. Cyclone Biparjoy Saurabh, is really fast approaching, but somehow what was expected to happen at 6 p.m. now is due to happen at 9 p.m. Are people in Gujarat really prepared? Do you see the forces, security forces in place? And tell us more about the do's and don'ts. We're a little worried about people venturing into the coastal lines. How prepared and worried should they be here?
So well, Nabila, let me tell you, yes, the administration of Gujarat government is very well prepared, but because let me tell you that the cyclone Biparjoy has given a lot of time for this preparedness because it moved very slowly in the Arabian Sea. It took over 6 to 7 days for actually before it is hitting the coastal areas today. So there was a lot of time which the government actually got, and therefore the central agencies along with the government agencies from the Gujarat as well, they are very well coordinating at different places. We are right now in Jamnagar, and the gusty winds are actually very much dangerous. And look at top angle visuals of Jamnagar here on India Today. You can see that how the wind speed is very much high. The NDRF teams are, Nabila, continuously patrolling the different areas. They are going to the low-lying areas as well. Even the local administration is continuously patrolling. What they are appealing to the people right now, that nobody should be out of their house, because when we are also doing some ground reports, we saw many of the people were actually out taking out photos and videos. So a continuous appeal is being made to the people right now that they should be inside by now, because it's just a matter of few hours from now and the wind has already taken a top speed over here. So what the appeal is being made to the people, that they should not come out of their houses or under shelter homes. What the government has also done in this coastal areas of Jamnagar, Nabila, that they have cut off the electricity so that if the electric poles get damaged, so there should be no any injuries or danger to anyone else. So therefore the electricity has been cut down. Also the food packets, the food supply has been given to the people from now only, because once this is complete dark, it will be very difficult for people to move. And also, if the people should not come out, and therefore food supply is also already given to them. So continuous appeal through loudspeaker and patrolling to the people is only that right now they should not be out of their house. There are several teams which have been distributed.
Certainly the most basic, Saurabh. Do not step out. Do not venture into the coastal areas. That's a no-brainer at this point. Gopi Manyar is also joining us, our India Today correspondent, who's been very fiercely braving that strong wind, who's right now in Manvi herself, which is the worst affected area. Gopi, I can't even imagine how you've been reporting from ground for the last few days. Gusty winds there, really picking up pace. And the situation seems to be quite dire, especially in the area you're at. Manvi is one of the worst affected areas, we believe, and the fiercest place where the landfall will happen. Tell us, give us some sense of the condition where you are at.
बिल्कुल नबीला, राइट नाउ वी आर इन मानवी, और यहाँ पे अगर आप देखेंगे तो जिस तरीके के हालात है, क्योंकि हम लोग जब पोर्ट पे मौजूद थे, जहाँ पे बिल्कुल जो समुंदर का किनारा था वहीं पे हम लोग मौजूद थे, और वहाँ पे हालात ये थे कि हवा की जो रफ्तार थी वो 110 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटे की हवा की रफ्तार होने का अनुमान था, जिसके चलते पोर्ट से पुलिस ने सभी मीडिया कर्मी को वहाँ से हटा दिया। पुलिस का क्या ये कहना है कि वहाँ पे खड़े रह पाना मुश्किल होगा, यहाँ पे आप कोई खड़े नहीं रह सकते। इस वक्त हम मानवी शहर के अंदर पहुँच चुके हैं, और मानवी शहर में आप देखेंगे तो हर किसी से आज तक यही अपील कर सकता है कि देखिए जिस तरीके से लोग लोग अपने घरों के बाहर खड़े हुए हैं, और किस तरीके से बहुत ही आसानी से इसे लिया जा रहा है। एक और जहां प्रशासन धारा 144 लगा के यहाँ पे मौजूद है, वैसे में जो लोग हैं वो बाहर निकल रहे हैं, क्योंकि साइक्लोन उनको जिस तरीके से हवा की तेज़ रफ्तार है उसे वो देखना चाहते हैं, इसीलिए सारे लोग जो है वो यहाँ पे बाहर निकल रहे हैं। हम इंडिया टुडे की ओर से इनको अपील भी कर रहे हैं कि आप लोग घरों के अंदर रहिए, तब ताकि कुछ ही घंटों की बात है, लेकिन लोग जो है वो कई बार अनाउंसमेंट करने के बावजूद भी यहाँ पे लोग बाहर निकल रहे हैं। लेकिन जिस तरीके से आपको मैं होर्डिंग्स दिखाती हूँ, होर्डिंग्स जो है उसे भी यहाँ पे उतार दिया गया है। लोगों को ये होर्डिंग्स इसलिए उतार दिया गया है कि जब तेज़ हवा चलेगी तो लोगों को ये अगर होर्डिंग्स गिरता है तो उनको चोट ना आए, जिसके लिए यहाँ पे होर्डिंग्स को उतार दिया गया है। साथ ही जेसीबी मशीन्स जो है वो इसी तरीके से हर चौराहे पर लगा दिए गए हैं, ताकि अगर कहीं पे भी पेड़ गिरता है या कहीं पे सड़क ब्लॉक की हो जाती है, क्योंकि पेड़ गिरना या इलेक्ट्रिक पोल गिरना ये चीज़ें इतनी तेज़ हवा में बड़ी सामान्य रहती है। तो वैसे में उसको हटाने के लिए जेसीबी मशीन्स जो है वो भी इसी तरीके से चौराहे पर लगा दिए गए हैं, ताकि कहीं पे भी कुछ भी अगर होता है तो रास्ता कहीं ब्लॉक ना हो जाए। इसी के चलते इस तरीके से सारी तैयारी जो है प्रशासन की ओर से की गई है। लेकिन आप देख सकते हैं लोग हैं इसे बहुत ही ज़्यादा हल्के में ले रहे हैं, और जिस तरीके से विंड स्पीड है इस वक्त करीब 90 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटे की रफ्तार के साथ हवा यहाँ पे चल रही है। खड़े रह पाना मुश्किल हो रहा है, लेकिन लोग जो है वो इसी तरीके से लगातार
एंटरटेनमेंट चाहिए। I'm sure, you know, Gopi showing us those images. Gopi, thank you. We will come back to you. But Gopi's images, they're very clearly showing how people have taken this so lightly. Probably some kind of weather change for them. But this is dangerous. The Met Department has very clearly issued a warning asking people not to venture out their homes unless an emergency. Cyclone Biparjoy is all set to make that landfall, one of the fiercest in Gujarat after nearly 50 years. In barely a few hours' time, around 9 p.m. is what's expected. The severe cyclonic storm is expected to cause some massive damage. NDRF and SDRF teams currently on standby. The army is also prepared to assist in relief efforts. Gujarat government has shifted over 94,000 people from coastal areas for now to makeshift shelters in anticipation of the powerful cyclone. Strong winds, heavy rains, turbulent seas witnessed in the beach town. Manvi is there, exactly where Gopi Manyar was standing. She brought us that report from that worst affected areas in Manvi, where the cyclonic storm is fast approaching. In Gujarat, all set to make that landfall today. In fact, the red alert now, we believe, has been issued all along the Saurashtra region. In Saurashtra, Dwarka, Porbandar, Kutch coast. Red alert has been issued, along with Jamnagar, Rajkot, Junagadh and Morbi are also among the areas that are likely to witness some serious impact of this cyclone. In fact, a lot of directions been given to people, asking them to stay away from any kind of trouble, get protection if needed. All the forces of the NDRF, SDRF have been kept on standby. We believe at least 15 teams of security personnel have been put in place just so that any untoward incident can be handled quickly. The strongest parts of the cyclone itself, we believe, the strongest effect is going to be happening in Manvi, Dwarka, Jamnagar, Rajkot, Porbandar and Kutch region. Listening to all the reactions that have been pouring in.
To give and understand the idea that we are seeing cyclonic activity already started. The eye of the storm, how far it will be from here, where exactly it is hitting, what will be the aerial distance as far as this port is concerned and the eye of the storm is concerned?
Right now, the distance of the Mandvi and the eye of cyclone, these are at around 130 kilometers, and be affecting around 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock approximately. As per the present speed, the eye is moving towards the Sir Creek area.
So, as we see, this eye of the storm is a certain distance, around 130 kilometers. The impact, because this goes in a radiusly, the impact takes a time to hit the coastal line. Can we say that this is a pre-cyclonic activity you are witnessing with the wind speed?
This is exactly, we cannot say that this is pre-cyclonic. It is almost cyclonic effect which is going on because this is moving from south side to the north east side of the Gujarat state. So already effect has started.
फर्क में है, बट अब जो ये लैंडफॉल होने वाला है 1800 से 2000 के बीच में हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं। उसके बाद की स्थिति को जानते हुए हम लोगों ने करीब 15 शिप स्टैंड बाई रखे हुए हैं, 7 टोटल एयरक्राफ्ट हमने रखे हुए हैं तैयार। जो हमारा स्टेशन है कोस्ट गार्ड एयर स्टेशन दमन, वहां पर भी हमने स्पेशल 4 डॉर्नियर और 3 हेलीकॉप्टर्स दूसरे रीजन से मंगा के भी रखे हैं। अगर जरूरत पड़ी तो हम उनको भी डिप्लॉय करेंगे। जो हमारी डिजास्टर रिलीफ टीम्स हैं 27 हमने बना के रखी हुई हैं, जिसमें जेमनीज हैं, उनके पास डाइवर्स हैं और बाकी रिलीफ मटेरियल है जो एक स्टैंडर्ड प्रैक्टिस होती है। 53 OBMs जो ऑनबोर्ड इंजन्स होते हैं जहाज के, कभी हमें OBM निकाल के कहीं और लगाना पड़ा, अगर फ्लडिंग होती है कहीं पर लोअर एरियाज में, उसमें ऑपरेट करनी पड़ी जहाज, और हमने करीब 200 लाइव बॉयज और 1000 लाइव जैकेट्स भी अलग से इंतजाम करके हमने तैयार रखा हुआ है डिफरेंट स्टेशन पे।
In the last 1 hour, the wind speed recorded, highest wind speed recorded 56 km per hour in Diu, 48 km per hour in Dwarka. And the rainfall occurred in last 1 hour. Porbandar 17 millimeter, Nalia 17 millimeter, Bhuj 12 millimeter, Kandla 12 millimeter. Landfall process is likely to start during the evening hour and it will continue till midnight.
All right, now I'm cutting across to Saurabh Akhtania for a little more on that. Saurabh, tell us more on the actual impact that this landfall could really have. What are the possible damage? What is the possible damage that the authorities there are expecting? Do we know of any situations like this in the past? We believe of 50 years now since Gujarat has seen this kind of cyclonic storm. In the past, what's been the damage? How prepared is Gujarat to really deal with one as harsh as this?
So earlier, Nabila, there were several cyclones which came to Gujarat coast, to Maharashtra coast, because this is not a very routine thing. This is happening since past 5 years due to climate change. This is what the scientists are telling us, because we have never seen such cyclones in Arabian Sea. Cyclones are very frequent in the Bay of Bengal, but not in the Arabian Sea. But for the past 5 years, we have seen several cyclones like Nisarg, Vayu, Taute, and now this particular cyclone, that's Biparjoy. So for Gujarat, let me tell you, in the coastal areas, Nabila, there are several raw houses which stands very at a dangerous place. Now what happens is the people over there, they don't want to leave their houses because they have their belongings and everything. So they don't feel safe that once they leave the house, then what will happen to the belongings which are there in the houses. Let me also show you this particular visuals over here. What has happened over here is there are several of the houses where people are not ready to leave. What the NDRF officials and the Gujarat government officials have done is they are continuously requesting them that they will give them lock and keys, they will that their homes will be protected, nothing will happen. But also there are still people over there who don't want to leave their houses. So this is when the problem arises. So there are few houses in this particular area as well, which you can see on the TV screen, that people are not willing to leave their houses, to leave for the shelter home. So that can be dangerous. And remember, the night for the landfall is in the night, and that time it will be complete dark. There will be no electric supply, because the electric supply also been shut down, because if the electric poles actually falls, then it can be very dangerous, and therefore the electricity supply is now shut down. Also the food packets have been already distributed. So this is the problem for worry for the people, and therefore continuous patrolling by the NDRF officials and the Gujarat government officials is being done. Right now it's not raining here in Jamnagar, Nabila, but the gusty winds, it's very dangerous. Right now also you can see that how the speed of the wind is very much high. So we are expecting the situation can get worse in a couple of hours from now, and therefore now the frantic calls which have been made by the official that all the people should now stay inside the house. They should not venture out, especially the small children and the teenagers.
You know, this is an advisory that's been issued, a blanket advisory. Adults or kids, do not venture into the coastline. That's Saurabh Akhtania bringing us those images there, while winds really packing at a speed of 150 kilometers per hour. That's how fast the winds are. And even as Cyclone Biparjoy is fast approaching, we know for now that people have been asked to stay indoors, irrespective of whether it's raining, not raining, whatever the condition. Considering that they're foreseeing an impending danger, they've asked people, directed them to stay indoors. Except Gopi Manyar showed us images of people venturing out like as if they're on an adventure. But this is a warning going out from the Met Department, from the officials on ground, that the impact could be severe. In fact, the real devastation could be seen only once the cyclone is fallen flat. Once it's past its landfall, we'll really see the actual damage. For now, the build-up that you see on your screens here, showing that the cyclone is certainly intense. It's defined as a very severe cyclone, Cyclone Biparjoy, as it's fast approaching. Ashutosh, who was on ground a little earlier at one of those areas, the coastal lines of Dwarka, bringing us this real report showing how the winds are so harsh he was barely able to stand. Let's have a look.
And it's a pre-impact of Cyclone Biparjoy, which has hit the coastal line of West Gujarat in West Kutch. And this is Mandvi Port. And it just started 5 minutes ago. Now, literally, standing against this current, massive wind speed is next to impossible. And you see the creek right behind me. Just an hour ago, almost, there was a clear surface visible. The water level is barely more than 5 to 6 feet. But all you see now, totally a rough ocean with a high current. And all of a sudden, it just started barely 5 to 10 minutes ago. All of a sudden, like someone pushed you. So literally, you know, it requires really a resistance to face this kind of wind speed. Though there is a prediction by the Met Department, the cyclone will slow down up to around 10 km per hour. So even in that case, the maximum speed will be 130 to 140 kmph. But you see, this kind of situation, almost the village across this creek of Mandvi, everything is now invisible. So that is how the impact of a pre-cyclone landfall is quite seen here in Mandvi, the part of Kutch, which is going to be the epicenter of this tragedy, as the eye of the storm will be passing through at far distance from here. But the radius of the ice storm is literally bringing havoc. At Mandvi with Sanjay, I'm Ashutosh Mishra for India Today.
All right, while we are cutting across to some live visuals of Jakhau port, this is precisely the area where the landfall is going to be fiercely hitting that region. The Jakhau port area now all being cleared up. You have the rescue teams who are clearing most of the... All right, what we hear right now, that there's heavy rainfall that's been reported in that region. I'm cutting across to Ashutosh, joining us live for more. Ashutosh, this area there where we see Jakhau port, almost everything that's kept in that port is fully being cleared out now. Ashutosh, tell us more. Are you okay?
Yes, Nabila, seems like nature has literally weaponized these downpours and literally, you know, are you able to hear me? Am I audible, Nabila? Am I audible?
I'm a little worried about your safety at this point. We see really fast, strong winds. Are you fine? Please tell us a little more about the preparedness right there, as the security forces, we believe, are clearing out the entire port area.
The port has been evacuated. In fact, we have been reporting for the last couple of days only at the port, and that part has literally been evacuated because we are at the moment just around 800 to 900 meters from the port. So this has helped us as far as intensity is concerned. But even if there are multiple obstructions on the way, the way we are seeing weaponizing these downpours here, hitting us actually, that explains the fury of the cyclone. And this is just impact. Look at these trees, and they are more likely to be uprooted any moment. And still we see there are some people who are literally careless about themselves and their family member. Despite the warnings and advisories, they are venturing out on the street. And if I could just take a shot on the road, look at this. This explains the nature's fury. It is just the beginning of this cyclone, which is passing through probably, and as we know that there is a delayed hitting at the epicenter is following its trajectory. So in that case, even if there is a delay, the implications, the consequences of that, and while touching on the coastal line, it will take another few hours. So that essentially makes really a long and perhaps a terrible night for the people of Mandvi and all across this region, which will be affected by this cyclone. A severe situation, and it is very difficult to see anything. I see visibility right behind the camera, because if you pan it to that side, there will be totally raindrops covering the lenses, so we won't be able to bring you any picture. So just preventing one side, all I see right behind the camera person, everything is invisible. Look at this wind speed. It has gone literally multi-fold up since morning that we have been seeing. In fact, it just reminds what had happened at around 10:30 a.m., which was literally making it difficult. But this is just a beginning. We are always saying that this is just a beginning. The full intensity of the arrival of the landfall or the landfall of the cyclone will take place at around 8 or 9 p.m. and for next few hours it will take to make an impact on the coastal lines near the population, the dense population living, be it Mandavi, Sayala, or any other region just around. Nabila.
All right. So from what we understand is that all the boats and anything that's present there along the port area is currently a danger, and which has all been moved out by the army security forces. So we're all on ground. But tell us a little about the impact that it could likely have. Do we have sufficient infrastructure, Ashutosh? We see all the boats there, emergency boats that are being loaded in trucks and being taken away. Tell us a little more, where exactly are people moved to? Also, the people who have been evacuated, are there makeshift camps that people have been relocated to? These emergency boats, where are they being taken to for now?
Well, now we have a sigh of relief. At least the raindrop, the downpour has stopped. Though we have a gutsy wind again. And let me show you the question is asking about those images, the country, the country boats from the fishermen village. Of course, those all boats were parked even yesterday itself. Though that's the one factor why these fishermen were very reluctant from leaving the village when they were asked, saying that we are more worried about our boats because that's the one and only source of our livelihood. So clearly, those aspects were addressed by the administration. They have tied up their boats with each other as the intensity they believe that will help to neutralize the impact of the intensity. As far as the shelters are concerned, these are mostly the government schools, the accommodation and several other such places which are concrete structure and around 5 to 6 kilometers of the radius from seashore. So in that case, that will also help to reduce the impact of the cyclone in the area. So low line have already evacuated, people already gone to the safer places, and where exactly they have made adequate and sufficient essential what will be required for the people, including food, power backup by using generators, and also the medicines, ambulances. As far as NDRF and such operations are concerned, at the moment there has not been a need to carry out such operations other than the patrolling which is being carried out by the policing agencies.
All right. Clearly it appears that 50 years after they saw one of its worst cyclones, we see now Gujarat bracing for yet another one. At this point, a lot of questions being raised on whether there's adequate and strong infrastructure to really sustain these kind of cyclonic storms that are becoming a more common occurrence along the Arabian Sea. This is one such, Cyclone Biparjoy, that's come in full speed. In fact, it's the longest sustaining cyclone that's lasted this long, in fact, on the Arabian Sea, and now finally will make its landfall at 10 p.m., 9 to 10 p.m. That's the time given by the IMD now. It's at this point causing some strong winds and rains along the areas that are likely to be affected in Gujarat. I'm going to cut across to Mandvi, exactly where our reporter Gopi Manyar is on ground, bringing us this very live ground report. Let's dip in. Gopi, please go on, we can hear you. All right, the winds are so strong, it's almost blaring, hardly audible. But if we can try and patch Gopi there, unfortunately we've lost a connection. But these are the visuals coming in right from Dwarka. On one end in Gujarat, Dwarka, Daman, Valsad, we see in areas of Kutch, Manvi, of course, all of these areas along with Mumbai that are severely affected. Red alert that has been issued along these coastal regions.
यहाँ पे बिजली का कभी खंभा था जिसको लेके यहाँ पे पावर सप्लाई जो है वो अभी बंद कराई गई है क्योंकि सावधानी बरतनी है, इसलिए प्रशासन ने पूरी तरह से जो है वो पावर सप्लाई जो है वो बंद कर दी है। तो ये दृश्य जो है ये दिखा रहे हैं कि हवाएं कितनी तेज चल रही है, तूफान कितना नजदीक आ रहा है, किस तरह से तूफान जो है वो आगे बढ़ रहा है और इसका असर जो द्वारका जो है वो दूर है पर फिर भी द्वारका में इसका असर देखने को मिल रहा है। तो कच्छ में इसका कितना असर देखने को मिलेगा और ये कितना विनाशक रहेगा, क्योंकि कहा जा रहा है ये पिछले 50 सालों का सबसे विनाशक तूफान है जो गुजरात की तरफ आगे बढ़ रहा है, जखौ की तरफ आगे बढ़ रहा है। और कच्छ में इससे कितनी तबाही मचेगी ये जो है कल्पना कर पाना मुश्किल है। कितना बड़ा नुकसान होगा वो भी अंदाजा लगाना अभी के लिए तो बहुत ही मुश्किल है, क्योंकि जिस तरह से ये हवाएं चल रही है यहाँ पे ये तूफान नहीं आ रहा, फिर भी ऐसी सिचुएशन है। तो जहाँ पे ये तूफान जा रहा है वहाँ पे कैसी हालत होगी और किस तरह से वहाँ पे लोग जो हैं वो रह रहे होंगे। और वहाँ पे अभी हमारे संवाददाता ने बताया कि जिस तरह से लोग बाहर घूम रहे हैं, कितना जो लोगों को बाहर नहीं निकाला जाए, फिर भी लोग बाहर निकल रहे हैं। हम भी यहाँ पे द्वारका में गए थे, लोगों को मना किया है, फिर भी लोग बाहर।
All right, well, this is precisely the connectivity there. Our reporters there bringing us updates, but then somewhere midway we're losing out on connections. In fact, also a word going out to people there to try as much as possible to turn off your electricity. As much as possible, use very minimum power and electricity is what's been advised. You don't want to be caught in the wrong foot of this cyclonic storm. Here are some of the images that we're going to bring to you, though, right from the start of the day with Cyclone Biparjoy. As it makes its landfall, has really caused some real serious storm winds, in fact, and rains in many of those affected areas, worst affected areas. Here we see heavy rainfalls, high tides that's rocking Mandvi in Gujarat's Kutch district. NDRF evacuation process that still continues in full swing, while 4 NDRF teams have been deployed in Kutch district for now. Meanwhile, in Junagadh, trees falling on the main Junagadh highway to a dome of a government hospital. The devastating impact of the cyclone Biparjoy making its way can already be seen. These are the effects of it. Images surfacing from different parts of the affected areas. In fact, as devastation really seeps in Junagadh, big potholes have already begun forming on the city's main roads as heavy rains lash the city. Walls have fallen, trees have fallen. Now the MLA himself is taking stock of these massive potholes that has now led to some massive traffic congestions. Palghar, Mumbai have also been witnessing some heavy rainfall and high tides as Maharashtra braces itself for severe cyclonic storm, Cyclone Biparjoy, to make its landfall any time now. And with Cyclone Biparjoy expected to make its landfall anytime soon, somewhere around 9 to 10 p.m., 15 ships and 7 aircrafts, including 4 special Dornier and 3 helicopters have been kept on standby at the Coast Guard station in Daman. High tides have hit the coastal areas in Daman, and those are the visuals that we bring to you. All right, those are the visuals there that's coming in right from the start of the day as the cyclonic storm and winds particularly intensifies, coming closer to the areas where it's going to be making a landfall. These images are really giving you an understanding on how severe that the impact of this landfall could likely be. A lot of damage is anticipated, but of course the security forces on ground has made this likelihood minimum as the impact would be. They've dealt with the situation by evacuating people from ground and asked people not to venture into these areas particularly, and also kept all sorts of rescue amenities in place just in case of an eventuality. Our reporters there braving it all on ground, bringing us every single update. We're slipping into a short break for now.
Muslim traders are fleeing Purola, a town in Uttarkashi, after hardline Hindu outfits set a deadline for their exit. Hindu right-wing groups took out rallies after an alleged abduction of a Hindu woman by 2 suspects, including one from the Muslim community. Shops of Muslim traders were vandalized by crowds raising slogans of Jai Shri Ram. The Hindu groups are alleging love jihad and land jihad in Purola.
बाहर से जो लोग आ रहे हैं वो यहाँ पे स्थानीय लोगों के लव जिहाद, लैंड जिहाद की जो घटनाओं के लिए उनका एक सोची सारी जो उनके योजना के हिसाब से जो काम कर रहे हैं, इसी का ये कारण है जो आज बड़कोट में स्थानीय पुराने लोगों को भी आज वहाँ से बड़कोट छोड़ना जा रहे हैं।
Local Hindu groups have called a Mahapanchayat on June 15 to protest alleged love jihad. The Uttarkashi district administration held a meeting with villagers but failed to convince them to call off the Mahapanchayat. The authorities have not given permission for the gathering.
जो काम प्रशासन और पुलिस को करना चाहिए, आज वो काम जो है बजरंग दल कर रहे हैं। भाई एक वातावरण बनाया जा रहा है, क्योंकि 2024 हमारे सामने है। 24 हम कैसे जीतें, उसके लिए भाजपा और आरएसएस का जो एजेंडा है, उस एजेंडे के अनुरूप चल रहे हैं।
Some Muslim bodies in reaction have called a Mahapanchayat on June 18 in Dehradun. Chief Minister Dhami assured proper law and order.
कोई भी अगर संदिग्ध पाया जाता है, संदेह जिसके ऊपर होता है, तो उसकी पूरी जांच होगी और जांच में कहीं भी पाए जाने पर सख्त कार्रवाई भी होगी। इसी प्रकार से जो लव जिहाद के जो मामले आए हैं, उस पर भी हमने सख्ती से जो है उसकी जांच, सख्ती से उस पर कार्रवाई इसके लिए पहले ही कहा है।
The police are holding peace meetings with both communities in Purola. Additional forces are deployed for protection of Muslims. Bureau Report, India Today.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today.
Expansion plans like, you know, the Noida facility, which you say is going to come up in FY25. Help us understand a little bit more granular details, both greenfield, brownfield opportunities. How are you looking at those in the upcoming years? And newer hospitals, like you pointed out, and if at all, any additional capacities in the existing ones also planned?
Absolutely. So we're currently at about 2,700 beds. By FY25, we will scale that to approximately 4,000 beds. And that will come off the backs of 3 or 4 distinct initiatives that we've triggered. One, of course, is the expansion in our existing hospitals. We still have bed growth in Lucknow and Patna. Lucknow is currently at 601 beds as at March. That will scale to 950. Patna is at 330. That will scale to 650. And we have some remodeling, renovation, and some work also happening in our Gurgaon facility with our new mother and child services coming in. Building out additional oncology capabilities in our Gurgaon facility as well. So the first avenue of growth will be the existing hospitals where we'll be adding beds. And keep in mind, since we've already got superstructure, since we've already put a bunch of the capex in, a lot of that growth will come at a significantly lower cost in terms of both capex and opex. And we will be able to get the benefits of economies of scale in those units. The second aspect is hospitals that are already underway. That includes our Noida facility, which will be 550 beds. That's under construction and moving along well. We've already come out of the ground in terms of the construction happening there. That facility will come on board. And last quarter, we also announced a O&M partnership in Indore for a 350-bed hospital there. We hope to begin construction work on that soon. So that's the second aspect, which is, slightly maybe medium to longer term in terms of the bed additions. And then there are a few more sticks in the fire. We have been engaging with various parties to look at innovative models, some at the asset-light O&M model, some in the greenfield way. So all options open. across the areas that we want to go in. But like I said, rather than just kind of chasing the check the box, all these steps are being done in a very deliberate manner with a slightly medium to longer term horizon in mind.
Gujarat braces itself for Cyclone Biparjoy's landfall. Wind speed has now been increasing exponentially in Jamnagar, leading to heavy rainfall and high tides. India Today's Saurav Vakhtania brings us this ground report.
India Today team has reached in the coastal areas of Jamnagar, wherein in just few hours from now, the cyclone Biparjoy is going to hit the coastal area. Look at the current situation over here. The wind speed is so high. Here you can see in the visuals that these are the boats of the fishermen who are tied over here. These are the huge ropes, and with the help of rods over here, this all boats are tied over here. There are several of boats which are kept at the safe place. Then all the fishermen are now gone back to the safer place at the shelter homes, which are made at a different place in the villages.
Let me cut across to Mustafa Sheikh joining us live from the Gateway of India. Mustafa, give us more on how far and worse is the situation right now on ground in Mumbai. Give us a sense on the coastal areas where we see people there extensively flocking towards the beach. We know a warning has been given against people venturing anywhere along the coastline. What's the condition like?
Well, yes, of course, because even if it's not in the eye of storm, Mumbai and Maharashtra is safer, but the impact of that cyclone is clearly seen near the sea area. If you come towards Gateway of India, the breeze which you can face at this point, and also the sea, you can see that it's not a high tide as of now, but still, due to the wind speed, fishermen have been advised not to venture inside the sea. And what we are getting to see here is that regular patrolling is happening by the police to ask people not to venture near the seashore and take all the precautions which are possible, because we have witnessed the incident of 4 children drowning in the sea at Jakhau. So 120 people have been deployed at various parts in Mumbai too. But the impact area is near Gujarat. But at this point, it's always better to take precautions. But the climatic conditions in Mumbai are witnessing some changes due to this cyclone Biparjoy. At this point, anywhere near the sea area in Mumbai, or towards starting from Mumbai towards Palghar area, which leads towards Gujarat and the coast further, is a unstable sea, and hence fishermen have been advised not to venture in. At the same time, the Navy teams have been kept on standby if there is any incident or any distress reported by ships which are in the sea, because in Mumbai also what we get to see is that there are oil rigs. If we'll pan in and go across, you will see there are many oil rigs, many huge ships which are parked near this Arabian Sea area.
Right.
And
Mustafa,
if there is a distress call from
at this point, what we know is that Cyclone Biparjoy is all set to make its landfall somewhere between 9 to 10 p.m. That's the time that's now the IMD as a update has been issued, and we're of course continuing to track those images that come in from different parts of Gujarat and Maharashtra. Mumbai and the areas of Kutch in Gujarat are going to be the worst affected. At this point, people have been asked not to venture out into the coastal areas, but as and when the cyclone approaches, what kind of damage it's going to leave in its wake is something that we've got to wait and see. For now, thank you very much for watching and stay safe.
Two advertisements within a space of 2 days reveal the tension within the BJP Shiv Sena coalition in Maharashtra. This ad that appeared on Tuesday featured Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. It said, Modi in Rashtra, Shinde in Maharashtra. There was no mention of Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. It also claimed that Shinde was more popular than his deputy, based on a recent survey by a private agency. The advertisement caused much resentment in the BJP. Shiv Sena soon got into damage control mode, clarifying the ad was issued by a supporter of Shinde. A day later, a new advertisement appeared, this time featuring photos of all leaders, including Shinde and Fadnavis.
शिंदे जे उत्कृष्ट आहेत त्यांनी देवेंद्रजी त्या ॲडव्हर्टाईजमध्ये कंपॅरिझन करणे हे ज्यांनी कोणी केलं असं मला वाटतं. एकनाथजी काही एवढ्या लहान मनाचे नाही आहेत. एकनाथजी काही लहान मनाचे नाही आहेत. एक मोठ्या विचाराचा मोठ्या मनाचा माणूस आहे. एकनाथ शिंदेला जे मी बघतो ते कधी अशा लहान विचारात वावरत नाही. पण ज्यांनी कोणी केली आहे त्यांनी देवेंद्रशी कंपॅरिझन एकनाथजी सोबत करणे हे थोडंसं त्या ठिकाणी अचंबित करणारं होतं.
The damage control, however, has not yet ironed out the differences between the two leaders. The Deputy Chief Minister has skipped events where he was supposed to share dyes with Chief Minister, citing health reasons. Fadnavis, however, continued with his regular meetings at the Shahayadri Guest House in South Mumbai. With Ritvik Bhalekar, Bureau Report, India Today.
Absolutely right. We're picking up from our finance ministry sources that disinvestment of container corporation, that is Concor, has hit a roadblock. In fact, this was in the offing because the government was expected to launch the expression of interest by January, that is of 2024, but as per finance ministry sources, the government may not be able to go ahead with the process in this fiscal year of 2023-2024 because of certain issues that they are facing from the railway department in terms of bringing a new investor on board. The cabinet had given a nod for 30.8% of government stake to be sold in Concor. Government holds about close to 55% stake, and this definitely puts on a lot of plans of government's disinvestment target, which is close to 51,000 crore for this year, because Concor was contributing about close to 20 to 22% in order to fetch about 12,000 crore with its 30.8% sale.
So, Sakshi, there are a couple of things that are working very well for MRF. If you think it's a 50% return from 1 year ago, in this century alone, suppose we take 2000 as the starting point, I'm sure you must have been in third or fourth standard then. From then on till now, the stock has been a 100-bagger, which means that MRF in 2000 was quoting at 1,000 rupees, and in 2023, it's at above a lakh. So it's gone up 100 times in a span of 23 years. And primarily the reason behind that is a very low liquidity in the stock, which basically means that one, the price ticket is very high, so retail investors generally don't come in. And institutional investors are, from what we've heard on the street, very clear in the mind. Of course, the management also takes a lot of feedback from the market. And they're very clear. Don't split the share. Don't reduce the face value. Stick to what it is. ensure that there is little liquidity as possible, so that because of the lack of liquidity, the stock keeps on, have that additional momentum to go higher and higher, higher and higher. So in 2012, it was at 10,000. 2014, it was at 25,000. 2016, 15,000, 50,000. 2018, 75,000. And 2023, we are at 1 lakh. Let's see what happens in 2030.
Right, absolutely. But, are you actually now looking at a 2 lakh rupee target at all? Is that still feasible to think, or is it still a very, very far off thing that one can imagine?
So, Sakshi, 2 points really. I don't think so. This is a point to enter the stock. Let's be very, very clear. The market is very, very overheated. And end of the day, MRF has an excellent brand, but it's it's a little on the higher side as far as valuations are concerned. But for those who have the stock, absolutely do not exit. And those who wish to buy, even at these 6 digits, I would just say wait and let it correct a bit. If it does, you're lucky. If it doesn't, then well, you were never a part of the rally and you never are. So what can be done? But I don't think so. This is the time to jump onto the bandwagon. It's extremely overheated. If you look at, the momentum, the price is above short, medium, and long-term moving averages. We've seen increasing volume, but it's very, very risky unless you're a very smart trader to come into the stock.
Powered by Voltas Pure Air 6-stage adjustable AC. Ajio Big Bold Sale.
Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshita Nandagopal and you're joining us for our rolling coverage on Cyclone Biparjoy. You can already see from the images that we're showing you here that in parts of Gujarat, the coastal pockets, the impact of the cyclone is already being felt. But the worst is yet to come. And trust us here on India Today to get you every single update. Our reporters braving this inclement weather are getting you the updates, the ground reports to tell you what the situation is currently in the worst affected parts of Gujarat. I'm Akshita Nandagopal and over the next 1 hour, I'll be running you through all the updates coming in on the cyclone. As always, let's begin with the headlines. Cyclone Biparjoy likely to make landfall between 9 to 10 p.m. Gujarat coast on high alert. NDRF and SDRF teams are on standby. India Today at Cyclone epicenter. We report amid heavy rains and gusty winds to get you the situation on ground.
In fact, look at the wind speed. It is made difficult to even face this. In touch Mandvi with Sanjay Kumar, I'm Ashutosh Mishra for India Today.
Cops recommend cancellation of POCSO against Brij Bhushan. Say no proof in Minor's case. BJP MP Brij charged with sexual harassment, stalking and outraging woman's modesty. One dead in clashes in Bengal's Chopra town. Clashes open firing in North Dinajpur during nomination filing. Calcutta High Court pulls up the Bengal State Election Commission over the Panchayat poll violence. Karnataka Cabinet approves textbook revision. Hedgewar Savarkar chapters out. Ambedkar and Nehru added in the syllabus. India set to get Predator drones from the United States. Second mega defense deal after GE 414 fighter engines to be signed during the Prime Minister's US visit next week. From early this morning, the people of Gujarat have been feeling the full-blown impact of Cyclone Biparjoy, with heavy rains, wind speeds picking up. But as I said earlier, the worst is yet to come, because the cyclone actually makes landfall in just about 2 to 3 hours from now. And the Met Department thereby has said that the rains and the wind speeds particularly will pick up at that point. So far, we've been getting multiple reports and getting you images also of the kind of damage that's been reported to property. Fortunately, there have been no casualties, because over 95,000 people have been evacuated from coastal regions and low-lying areas. Let me begin by getting you a roundup of all the images that are coming in from Gujarat. The Indian Coast Guard here is seen pulling up everything they can, using all of their resources to round up preparatory measures as they brace for Cyclone Biparjoy. It's going to be making landfall between Mandvi and Karachi. The wind speed could go up to 125 kilometers per hour. These are images from Rasul Nagar in the Jamnagar area of Gujarat, where villagers can be seen tying ropes as a precautionary measure. It's a safety measure in the middle of the village to ensure that they can move to safer places during the storm in case their houses collapse. The holy town of Dwarka is going to see a maximum impact of the cyclone. A team of NDRF seen here rescuing people and moving them to safer locations as Biparjoy approaches closer. Let me remind you that it's not just Gujarat, but parts of Maharashtra also that are feeling the impact of this cyclone. These images on your screens are from Maharashtra's Palghar, where strong winds and high tides are being reported and witnessed by the locals. An alert has been issued by authorities. Tourists have been asked not to visit beach areas. And here are some pictures of the cyclone in the Arabian Sea that were clicked over 2 days from the International Space Station by a UAE-based astronaut. And these pictures show you the kind of cloud mass that's gathered and how this cyclone could really have a deadly impact and bring heavy rains. So as we continue to get you all the images that are coming in right now from different parts of Gujarat that give you a sense of how bad really this cyclone is, remember that the wind speeds could touch up to 125 kilometers per hour. Our reporters on the ground have been getting you every single update, braving this kind of harsh weather to tell you what's happening in Gujarat. It's pretty scary out there, because you can see in many of the reports that we'll show you in the next few minutes, our reporters are struggling to even stand by the sea. And that's why people have been told very clearly, advisories have been issued saying do not go anywhere close to the seashore. There are high tidal waves being reported. There's non-stop rain and also wind speeds picking up. These are images that we're showing to you right now from Dwarka, where you can see that, this is the level of wind speeds picking up. There is some damage to property that's been reported, but let me quickly toss this over to Brijesh Doshi. He's joining us live from Dwarka, this holy town, Brijesh, from early this morning, and you've been reporting there for the last few days, has been witnessing the might of Cyclone Biparjoy. What's the situation currently? Because in about 2 hours from now, the estimate is that it could only get worse. Brijesh, if you can hear me, can you tell us what's the situation currently in Dwarka? Give us a moment, viewers, as we try to reconnect with our reporters. You can understand the kind of difficulties they're having right now with the harsh winds around them to really hear what we're saying from the studios right now. But we'll try to connect with Brijesh and our other reporters to tell you about the current update on the ground. But in the meanwhile, as we tell you about the cyclone, the movement and what's really happening at this point, I want to run you through the current situation as far as the cyclone itself is concerned. Where is it currently placed? What is the situation right now? This is what the map currently looks like. Let me just zoom in for you here onto the cyclone to show you how it is at this particular moment. You can see that, in fact, at this band is what is going to be bringing the maximum rain and heavy winds for Gujarat. It's headed straight in this particular direction. What we're showing you right now is, in fact, the wind forecast. So you can see that it's moving closer and closer. 9 to 10 is when actually this particular cyclone will hit. That is, it will make landfall. So let me show you, in fact, what the trajectory actually looks like at this time. So you can see this particular area which has been highlighted here. Let me zoom out a little for you here and show you this particular area that's been highlighted. It's called a cone, and this entire area across India is going to feel the cyclone's impact. Obviously, once it comes to this area, which is by Monday or Tuesday, it will completely weaken, completely decimate. But at this stretch right now, and let me just zoom in here for you to show you where it is located currently. You can see that the cyclone is moving right now. It's hit parts of Gujarat already. But the reason we're saying that the cyclone is yet to make landfall is because the eye of the storm is still making its way in, and that's when wind speeds could really pick up. I want to hand this across now to Brijesh Doshi, who's joining us live from Dwarka. Brijesh, good evening. I hope you can hear me. Can you tell us what's the update where you are?
Akshita, definitely I am able to hear you, but the situation right now here is not so normal because the cyclone is coming towards the Kutch, and the effect of cyclone is showing up here in the Dwarka. See, the structures are collapsing, and this kind of heavy wind has affected so many residential buildings as well. So trees are fallen, structures are collapsing, and everything is disturbed because of this heavy gusty wind. We are unable to stand at one place because of this heavy wind. Advisory has been issued for the media personnel as well, but still this is the situation right now at the ground, that no one is able to stand steadily here because of the gusty wind. The wind speed is almost more than 70-80 kilometers per hour, and that is the reason that this kind of damage is happening in Dwarka itself. Though a cyclone is not coming to the Dwarka, it is going towards Kutch, Jakhau. Still the effect of cyclone is very much here, very severe here, and that's why the power supply of Dwarka has not been restored yet. They will wait for the next 24 hours to restoration of the power supply. So this is the current situation right now, where one is not able to stand properly.
Brijesh, stay safe out there. I can understand how challenging it is for you to report from that particular location. But Brijesh, what's the alert from the Met Department? Is it going to get worse now in the coming hours?
Definitely, it is going to be. It is definitely going to be worse because of the cyclone is coming towards the Kutch and Dwarka, near Dwarka's coast. So right now the wind speed is less than 80, but in coming couple of hours it will be increasing to 100 kilometers per hour. So this will damage more. This will damage building properties, residential properties as well. So this is going to be happen here. Sea is totally rough right now. No one will be able to stay there near the sea area. So this is the situation right now. Camera person is also not able to stand properly. So this is the effect of the cyclone here, and this shows the severity, the damage that is going to be happen in Kutch as well, because the cyclone is hitting the Kutch where there are big ports are there. So Kandla, Mundra, Mandvi, Jakhau, these are the ports which are going to be affected by the cyclone.
Okay, stay safe out there, Brijesh. I'm going to give you a moment to catch your breath, particularly because I can see that the winds speeds are really picking up behind Brijesh as well. Let me get you some of the reports that Ashutosh as well as Gopi Manyar have filed for us. They're also at these very points where you're going to be seeing the maximum impact of the cyclone being felt. Ashutosh filed this report for us a few hours ago, where you could see that the wind speeds were picking up. He was struggling to stand where he was as he reported for us. Let me get you some of those dramatic reports.
And it's a pre-impact of Cyclone Biparjoy, which has hit the coastal line of West Gujarat in West Kutch. And this is Mandvi Port. And it just started 5 minutes ago. Now, literally, standing against this current, massive wind speed is next to impossible. And you see the creek right behind me. Just an hour ago, almost, there was a clear surface visible. The water level is barely more than 5 to 6 feet, but all you see now, totally a rough ocean with a high current. And all of a sudden, it just started barely 5 to 10 minutes ago. All of a sudden, like someone pushed you. So literally, you know, it requires really a resistance to face this kind of wind speed. Though there is a prediction by the Met Department, the cyclone will slow down up to around 10 km per hour. So even in that case, the maximum speed will be 130 to 140 kmph. But you see, this kind of situation, almost the village across this creek of Mandvi, everything is now invisible. So that is how the impact of pre-cyclone landfall is quite seen here in Mandvi, the part of Kutch, which is going to be the epicenter of this tragedy, as the eye of the storm will be passing through at far distance from here. But the radius of the ice storm is literally bringing havoc. At Mandvi with Sanjay, I'm Ashutosh Mishra for India Today. And the pre-impact of this landfall of Cyclone Biparjoy is already visible in parts of Kutch and Mandvi. Almost everything goes invisible now. The creeks, very rough ocean, and the wind speed. This is literally going to create havoc in this region of Kutch. In fact, even standing at this place is next to impossible now. I can see literally the weather has deteriorated. All machineries are on standby. Quick response team will be at its station. In fact, look at the wind speed. It is very difficult to even face this. In Kutch Mandvi with Sanjay Kumar, I'm Ashutosh Mishra for India Today. जहाँ मैं खड़ा था, यहाँ ये लगभग तटीय इलाका है, ये क्रीक है. दरिया का पानी यहाँ से होकर गुजरता है, यहाँ नाव खड़ी होती हैं और यहाँ काफ़ी कुछ देखने के लिए होता है. लेकिन अब यहाँ सब कुछ इनविजिबल है और ऊपर से पानी जो है इस क्रीक में, इसका करंट है वो बहुत ज़्यादा है. 5-10 मिनट पहले ही ये शुरू हुआ और ऐसा लगा जैसे किसी ने धक्का दे दिया हो. लोग खड़े और पूरी ताकत से कोई आपको धकेल रहा है. इस हवा के सामने इंसान का भी खड़ा रहना मुश्किल है. आप ये समझ सकते हैं कि जब इसकी रफ्तार 130-140 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटे के हिसाब से आगे बढ़ेगी तो स्थिति क्या होगी. अभी तो सिर्फ समझिए कि 3 बजने में काफ़ी समय है. उसके पहले जो शुरुआत हुई है, अगर वो इतनी भीषण है तो जब ये लैंडफॉल होगा, ये स्टॉर्म इस इलाके से गुजरेगा तो अपने साथ किस तरह का प्रकोप लेकर के आएगा. ये जो तस्वीरें देख रहे हैं वो बेहद भयावह है और इसी के लिए आप समझिए कि सरकार की ओर से, प्रशासन की ओर से वो तैयारियां की गई थी. बरसात की थपेड़ी, ये जो बूंदें गिर रही हैं, ऐसा लग रहा है जैसे पीठ पर कोई हंटर मार रहा हो. ये मोटी जैकेट के बाद भी ये हवा जो है, ये जो इसके साथ जो बूंदें आ रही हैं वो चोट पहुंचा रही हैं. तो अभी तो सिर्फ ये प्री इम्पैक्ट है. हालांकि जब अचानक से फिर बरसात बन गई है, लेकिन हवा काफ़ी तेज़ है और ये जब जैसे जैसे अपनी इंटेंसिटी आगे बढ़ाएगा लैंडफॉल के करीब जाते जाते, तब हालात और असामान्य होते जाएंगे. मांडवी पोर्ट से संजय कुमार के साथ मैं आशुतोष मिश्रा.
And let's get you all the details you need to know about this cyclone, as it's set to make landfall in a matter of 2 to 3 hours from now. Biparjoy essentially means disaster, and this was a name that was recommended by Bangladesh. We've of course spoken about this in great detail of how really the names of this cyclone is chosen by the Met Department. It's expected that this particular cyclone could cause massive damage. The landfall is expected to happen in a few hours from now. And Gujarat, for the last 20 years, hasn't witnessed a tropical cyclone like this one. Most of your cyclones and depressions and systems are formed in the Bay of Bengal. This one, of course, is in the Arabian Sea. And that's why nothing is being left to chance. You've got 17 NDRF teams who've currently been deployed to different parts of Gujarat. And we've been getting you all of those images of these NDRF personnel already in action, evacuating evacuating, ensuring all steps are taken to ensure minimal casualties are reported. At this point, over 74,000, that number has gone up to 95,000, by the way. 95,000 people have been evacuated so far. A red alert, of course, has been sounded in different parts of Gujarat. Let me hand this across now to Saurabh Vakhtania. He's joining us live from Jamnagar in Gujarat. Here too, there's a red alert that's been sounded. Saurabh, what's the situation currently? I hope you're doing fine. I hope you're safe. Wind speeds have been picking up, at least looking at the reports that your colleagues have filed.
Well, Akshita, the situation is very much difficult here in Jamnagar. The speed of wind is extremely high, and right now just there is a call to NDRF and district officials over here. Look at this. This is a huge tree which has completely fallen down. Look at the visuals right now. We are breaking exclusively on India Today. These are the visuals right from Jamnagar. This is the Bed area, and this is the electric pole and the huge tree which has directly fallen on this house. Look at the visuals over here. What we have been told that yes, there were few people which have been evacuated on time. There are some injuries, but right now the wind is at very high speed. The situation is very difficult at the moment. What the officials are telling us that it is now that all the people should be inside. This was a huge tree. These are the farms over here, and on this particular road, this is the huge tree which is located, and it has completely fallen down on this particular tree, this particular house. There is also a bike which has come under this particular tree. This is the electric pole, Akshita, which too has fallen down. Look at the visuals over here. In line, you can see all the trees have fallen down. So wind has taken a huge speed over here in Jamnagar. It may not be raining, but the wind speed is very high. Now, let me show you more visuals over here. Ask my camera person, Vaibhav, to show you that this crane came over here to rescue the people over here. They were here to remove these trees and to rescue people, but that crane is now stuck. Now, there is another crane which has been called by the official. First, this crane will be removed, after which this road will be opened. Look at this. The road is completely blocked over here, and many such calls the NDRF teams are getting, Akshita. Let me tell you, there are over 2 teams of NDRF and SDRF and the government officials who are present over here. They're continuously getting calls that trees are falling, the electric poles are falling, and this is just the beginning, Akshita. Let me cut across the visuals once again. That just see that how huge this tree is, and it has fallen on this particular house. This is the house of a farmer. Behind this is the farm, and this is the house of the farmer.
Saurabh, you know, you're right when you say that the worst is yet to come, and already this is the kind of damage that's being reported. Fortunately, in that particular property from where Saurabh is reporting, there were no people inside, so no casualties that have been reported. Most of these places have been evacuated, and as Saurabh continues to report for us from Jamnagar, I want to bring in also Ashutosh Mishra. We're ensuring that we get you reports from every single district of Gujarat that's been issued a red alert by the Met Department. Ashutosh, you've been reporting for us from Mandvi. Tell us the situation right now, because you got us some scary images earlier, Ashutosh, of how the wind speeds were picking up, and we could see how you were struggling to stand there even.
Well, Akshita, that was just a trailer. Imagine, because the landfall hasn't taken place yet, and by the time it happens, and by the time impact with its peak velocity comes to the coastal area, that will be again in certain hours. So what we believe that during midnight people will be totally asleep, and when they wake up in the morning, then they will see the devastation brought by this cyclone. And here, what you see, I can see there is one of the most famous Swaminarayan temple in Mandvi. Look at this is the inner roof of this structure. That's a prayer hall, and this is what the wind has created. Since afternoon, there have been literally high speed, high velocity of the wind, and one after one, the sheet of the metal sheet is falling down. So there was a warning quite that those are the kacha structure, not really very strong, not very concrete one, could probably be impacted by this. And here what we see, though the rain shower downpour is on and off, but the velocity, the wind speed is quite high since morning. And as with the coming hours, when the cyclone will approaching to the close proximity of the coastal line, Then probably after 10 or 11 o'clock, we will have the highest speed, and perhaps by early morning, we'll have the peak velocity of the wind here approaching to the coastal line, and that will probably trigger, though there have been some, uprooting of the trees, certain incidents, but there is no casualty reported so far. There is no electricity in the entire region of Mandvi, even at the certain places where essential services are being carried out. They have maintained with the generator sets, but for now there is no electricity. The people are in the safer places. They're ensuring food and medicines reaches on time. Even we are struggling to maintain our batteries backup, but that's really gonna be really very challenging task, and this is gonna be one of the longest night for the people of Mandvi. They never suffered through such cyclone, and as now the scary images since morning they have been seeing on the television, one can really anticipate that how it's gonna be really for the next few hours.
Let's hope for the best, and let's hope it stays the way you mentioned, Ashutosh, about no casualties being reported so far. Of course, power being snapped off in some of the districts where there's a red alert issued, largely a precautionary measure, because with the cyclone, it's not so much about the rain, but largely about the wind speeds and the kind of damage that can cause, which is usually property damage. We're going to continue getting you ground reports. Ashutosh, Gopi, Brijesh Doshi, Saurabh Vaktania, all of them fanned out across coastal Gujarat to get you reports, live updates on the cyclone's movement. Remember, 9 p.m. is when it makes landfall, and here on India Today, we're putting our focus on Cyclone Biparjoy and getting you those live updates. On the other side of a short break, we continue our non-stop broadcast.
Stones pelted, cars smashed, lathi charge by police. Bengal is on the edge as it heads for the next panchayat elections. Several TMC workers were injured in clashes with the ISF in Bengal's South 24 Parganas.
Bombing had happened, crude bombs were hurled over here. This is what it's being stated by the locals over here, the ISF workers over here. It's the 5th day of nominations, and yesterday there were reports of violence in Bhangur 1 in South 24 Parganas, in Bhangur 2 rather, in South 24 Parganas, and today we are here at Bhangur 1 where there has been numerous instances and reports of violence.
The situation remains tense in South 24 Parganas as several people were also injured in the political clashes that broke out.
Bricks were pelted at it. The windscreen is completely vandalized. Even over here, if we look at it, there are the byproducts of the broken window screen, which is still inside this particular vehicle. This was being used to ferry police officials. Over here, there has been instances and reports of crude bombs being hurled on each other. That is the ISF and the Trinamool Congress. This is what both of them have alleged.
BJP workers clashed with the state police in West Bengal's Bankura. The BJP accused the state police of stopping its MLA from filing a nomination. The atmosphere remains tense in parts of Bengal. Police detained 8 people with a bucket full of bombs in Bankura. The BJP attacked the Mamata government for failing to restore peace, even drawing parallels between the Bengal poll battle and the Russia-Ukraine war.
कल भी भांगुड़ में हम लोग देखा है बमबाजी हो रहा है, आज भी बमबाजी हो रहा है सुबह से। ऐसा तो लग रहा है कि हम लोग रशिया या यूक्रेन में हैं, और ये जो बुरी सिचुएशन है इसका दाय ममता बनर्जी को लेना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि वो पुलिस मंत्री है और आपका अगर थोड़ा सा भी शर्म हो आप रिजाइन करिए।
ये सब गुंडा तृणमूल का नहीं है, बीजेपी का दलछूट हुआ, कांग्रेस का दलछूट हुआ गुंडा, उसको काम है तृणमूल का शरीर पर काली का दाग लगाना, वो कर रहे हैं, लेकिन वो पकड़ जाएगा जल्द से जल्द। लेकिन इतना शांतिपूर्ण आसानी से पीसफुल चुनाव होगा ये 50 साल में कभी नहीं हुआ।
The Calcutta High Court has directed the Bengal government to call in central forces for assistance. Will this move help to ease the tension in the state, which remains on edge? With Suryagni from South 24 Parganas, Bureau Report, India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Welcome back. You're joining us on our rolling coverage of Cyclone Biparjoy as it nears closer and closer to the coast of Gujarat. So which are the worst affected parts as per the Met Department? Well, essentially there's the Kutch region, which is here in northern Gujarat, and the Saurashtra region along the coast, as you can clearly see, of the Arabian Sea, is the parts that will be worst affected. So in Kutch, there's an alert that's been issued for wind speeds reaching up to 125 kilometers per hour. In the Saurashtra region, let me run you through some of the districts that have been issued a red alert. Dwarka, the holy town, has already been seen wind speeds picking up. There's a red alert issued there. Porbandar, another coastal town, also for obvious reasons, has a red alert issued from the Met Department. In Jamnagar, where we've been getting you constant ground reports, the wind speeds are slowly picking up. It's a bit more interior, but the coastal regions will face the brunt of it. Rajkot district also has been issued